a woman goes silent, most people think that a man just moves on, like it's no big deal. But let me tell you something, it's never like that. Men are thinkers and they think differently than women. Men don't process emotions out loud the same way women do. Men internalize, they calculate, they analyze, and when you go silent, suddenly there's nothing to distract him from the thoughts he's been avoiding. And I'm talking about the kind of thoughts that can keep a man up at night, pacing the room, staring at his phone, wondering why you haven't reached out. Because see, when a woman goes quiet, she stops giving him the energy he's used to. She stops filling the space in his mind with her voice, with her laughter, with her messages, with her presence. And without that, his mind starts racing. The first thing a man thinks about when you go silent is usually what he did wrong. Men replay moments over and over in their head, sometimes in ways you wouldn't believe. He remembers the little things, the small comments, the jokes he made that didn't land, the times he may have said something insensitive without realizing it. He starts asking himself, did I mess up? Did I hurt her? Did I say something that made her pull away? And even if he didn't do anything wrong, his brain is wired to try to figure out the problem because men are problem solvers by nature. So when you go silent, he begins to analyze everything, replaying your conversations in his mind like a movie, trying to find the scene where it all went wrong. And sometimes he starts to feel guilty for things he never even should have felt guilty about. Now, while he's doing all this thinking, he's also remembering the good times. He can't help it. Your silence makes him reflect on the moments that made him feel alive, that made him feel loved, that made him feel like he was finally with someone who truly got him. He remembers the way you laughed at his dumb jokes, the way you supported him when no one else did, the way your smile lit up his day, even on the worst of days. He starts to notice the little things he used to take for granted. That moment you leaned your head on his shoulder, the time you texted him just to say you were thinking about him, the way you trusted him with parts of your life that nobody else knew. All those memories start circling back, and he realizes, sometimes a little too late, that your presence wasn't something he should have ever taken lightly. And while he's thinking about the past, he's also thinking about the future. Men start asking themselves questions they've been avoiding for months, maybe years. Am I ready for this? Can I be the man she deserves? Am I capable of keeping her? And those questions, my friends, they don't go away. They sit there day after day because silence doesn't let him run from them. Silence forces him to confront his fears. Silence makes him see the possibility of losing you, and nothing wakes a man up like the thought of losing what he loves. And the more days you go without contacting him, the louder those questions get. He starts imagining what life would be like without you. And let me tell you, when a man imagines life without a woman he loves, it ain't pretty. Suddenly, the things he thought were unimportant become monumental. The laughter, the intimacy, the conversations, the little gestures, all of it starts to weigh heavily on him because your absence leaves a void he can't fill. Now, men may not always admit it. They might act like nothing has changed. They might text you casually or post on social media like they're fine. But inside, the gears are turning nonstop. A man thinks about what he could have done differently, what he should have said, and even the timing of everything. He wonders if he moved too fast or too slow. He wonders if he showed up enough, if he listened enough, if he loved enough. And the crazy part is, sometimes he can't even figure it all out, but he keeps thinking anyway, day after day, because silence doesn't let him escape his own mind. Silence creates reflection, and reflection creates growth, or at least it can. Another thing you need to understand is that men bond emotionally in ways that are often invisible. They bond through action, through shared experiences, and through trust. And when you go silent, it's like a mirror suddenly appears in front of him, showing him what he's missing. He sees the love, the patience, the loyalty, and the kindness he may have taken for granted. He realizes the effort you put into the relationship, the care you showed without complaint, the times you held him up when he was weak. And this reflection doesn't always come easy. Men don't talk about feelings like women do. They don't journal. They don't call their friends to vent. They bottle it up. But when silence hits, they can't avoid it anymore. They have to feel it, even if they hate it at first. And then comes the fear. Oh, the fear is real. A man starts to imagine the worst case scenario, losing you forever. He thinks about how he would handle life without your guidance, your support, your smile. He worries about what others might do to fill the space you left. And fear, my friends, is a powerful motivator. It can make a man take action or make him withdraw even more. But either way, he's thinking about you constantly, even if he pretends not to. And don't ever forget this: men are wired to protect what they value. When a woman goes silent, he starts realizing how valuable you are, and that realization can be the spark that finally makes him step up, step closer, and fight for the love he's been taking for granted. Here's the truth about men in silence. It's not about punishing him. It's about showing him the reality of life without your presence. Silence is like a spotlight on his emotions, illuminating everything he's been ignoring or avoiding. It forces him to look at himself, his actions, his feelings, and his intentions. And sometimes it's not pretty. Sometimes he doesn't like what he sees, and that's the point. It's a wake-up call. It's a chance for him to grow, to reflect, and to decide whether he's truly ready to be the man you need him to be. And let me tell you something else. While you're silent, living your life, focusing on yourself, growing, and being your best self, a man's mind doesn't stop working. He's imagining conversations he wishes he could have, moments he wishes he could replay, words he wishes he had said differently. And the beauty of it is that silence gives him space to realize what matters most. It strips away distractions, it clears away confusion, and it puts your value front and center. Because men, deep down, they know when something is rare, when something is special, when something is worth fighting for. And your silence, it's the amplifier that makes him recognize that. So, when a woman goes silent, she's not being cold. She's not playing games. She's creating a space for reflection, for clarity, and for emotional honesty. And men, whether they admit it or not, think day by day about the things they may have overlooked, the love they may have taken for granted, the woman they may not want to live without. Men think about the laughter, the comfort, the care, the loyalty, and the connection that only you could give. And when the days turn into weeks, when your silence stretches longer than he expected, those thoughts get stronger, deeper, and more persistent. He starts to realize, sometimes with panic, that life without you is something he doesn't want to imagine. And that, my friends, is the power of silence. It's not about revenge. It's not about proving anything. It's about giving a man the space to think, to feel, and to confront the truth that a woman who steps back and goes silent has a value he may not have fully appreciated until now. And when he finally starts to notice, when he finally starts to understand, that's when change happens. That's when a man begins to act differently. That's when he starts to see your worth and wonders how he can keep you. Because silence, more than anything else, forces a man to face what he really feels, what he really wants, and what he could lose if he doesn't step up. And here's the thing. Men may not tell you everything they're thinking, but their thoughts are real and they are relentless. They are shaped by the memories you've created together, the bond you've shared, and the absence that now makes every memory feel larger than life. And as each day passes without contact, those thoughts get louder. They pile up. They grow in intensity. And that, my friends, is the quiet power a woman has when she chooses to step back, when she chooses to go silent, when she chooses to let a man think and feel the full weight of what you mean to him. Because in the end, men think about the past, the present, and the future, and silence forces them to do all three at the same time. And that is why silence is one of the most powerful tools a woman can ever use. Not to punish, but to reveal, to clarify, and to let a man finally see the value of what he might lose if he doesn't step up and cherish the love that he already has. You ever notice how a man acts when a woman goes quiet? Some people think he doesn't care. Some people think he just moves on like nothing happened. But let me tell you something. When a woman goes silent, that's when a man really starts thinking. And I don't mean a little thinking. I mean day after night, all in his head, questioning everything he's done, everything he's said, and everything he wants. Men don't show it like women do. They may act like it's fine, post pictures on social media, or act busy, but inside their mind is running full speed, replaying, analyzing, and questioning. Silence is the trigger, the spark, the thing that sets all those thoughts on fire. The first thing that happens is he starts analyzing himself. He remembers the conversations, the jokes, the arguments, the times he may have brushed off your feelings or failed to notice your efforts. He starts asking himself questions he didn't even know he was avoiding. Did I give enough? Did I make her feel loved? Did I show her the respect and attention she deserves? And if the truth is he hasn't, then those thoughts hit him like a truck. And they keep coming over and over because silence doesn't let a man escape from the truth. It's like a mirror being held up to him, forcing him to see himself in the light he's been ignoring for so long. And let me tell you, sometimes that reflection scares him more than he wants to admit. While he's examining himself, he starts replaying the memories, the good ones, the ones that make his chest tighten and his stomach twist a little. He thinks about the way you used to make him feel when you were around. He remembers the laughter, the late night talks, the quiet moments when just being with you made the world feel right. Those memories don't just make him nostalgic, they make him realize the value of what he had and what he could lose. Men don't always talk about these things, but that doesn't mean they're not thinking them. And the longer your silence lasts, the more intense those thoughts become. Suddenly, every small act of love you showed starts to feel monumental. He starts noticing the little gestures he may have overlooked. How you checked in on him when he was stressed. How you supported him when no one else did. How you trusted him with things he didn't deserve but that you gave anyway. All of that starts running through his head like a highlight reel, and he realizes, maybe too late, that your presence isn't something he can just replace. And then comes the imagining part. Men start thinking about what life would be like without you. That's the part that really gets them because no man wants to feel the emptiness of your absence. He starts picturing his days without your smile, without your voice, without your laughter filling the room. He wonders what he would do if you never reached out again, if he couldn't feel your warmth, if he lost the connection that made him feel like he belonged somewhere. And the fear of losing you begins to grow. It's subtle at first, maybe just a nagging feeling, but as days go by, it becomes louder, impossible to ignore. And because men are wired to solve problems, he starts thinking about what he could do to change things, what he could have done differently, and what he can still do to make it right. And here's something women don't always see: men bond emotionally, but it's not always obvious. A man doesn't always talk about his feelings. He doesn't journal. He doesn't call his friends and cry on the phone. He holds things inside, and that's why silence hits him so hard. When you go quiet, he's forced to confront his emotions without distraction. He begins to see the gaps he's left, the care he hasn't given, and the love he's taken for granted. Silence amplifies every feeling, every regret, every question. It makes a man truly understand what he stands to lose, and that realization can shake him to his core. As the days go by, he starts to measure himself against what he sees as your worth. He thinks about how rare you are, how much effort you put into the relationship, how much patience and love you've shown, and how few people could ever match that. He compares himself to the man he wants to be, the man he wishes he could be for you. And the gap between the two, between who he is and who he needs to be, starts to grow in his mind. He starts to feel the pressure, the pull, the push to step up, to be better, to do better. And that, my friends, is exactly what your silence is meant to do. It forces him to look at himself honestly and ask, am I enough for her? Am I giving her what she deserves? And let's not forget the little moments that start to haunt him. He thinks about the times he ignored your advice, the times he took your love for granted, the times he didn't recognize the sacrifices you made for him. Each memory starts to feel bigger than life, like a weight on his chest he can't shake off. He begins to wish he could go back, undo things, say the right words, show the right actions, make you feel seen, appreciated, and loved in every single moment. And even if he never reaches out right away, those thoughts are simmering, building, growing into something powerful, something that can't be ignored for long. Men also start to wonder about the future. They think about what they want, what they hope for, and how you fit into that vision. They ask themselves if they're ready for a deeper commitment, if they can handle the love you're offering, if they are capable of being the partner you need. And these thoughts don't go away. They linger. They haunt his mind every day and night. He imagines the life he could have with you if he steps up, and he imagines the life he'll regret if he doesn't. And that, my friends, is powerful stuff. That is the power of silence. When a woman pulls back, it forces a man to confront the reality of what he stands to lose and what he must do to hold on to what truly matters. Here's the truth: men may act like silence doesn't affect them, but it does. It penetrates their thoughts, forces them to reflect, challenges their actions, and makes them question their priorities. And the more days that go by, the more intense those thoughts become. Your absence becomes a spotlight highlighting everything they've been ignoring, everything they've been taking for granted, and everything they need to face if they want to keep you. It's not about punishment. It's about reflection. It's about clarity. And it's about giving a man the space to understand the value of the love he's been given and what it truly means to risk losing it. And while all of this is happening, you're living your life. You're growing, focusing on yourself, thriving, and being the person a man should want to fight for. And that, my friends, makes the silence even more powerful because he's watching from afar. Even if he doesn't reach out, he's noticing your strength, your independence, your confidence, and your presence. He's realizing day by day that a woman who knows her worth and isn't afraid to step back isn't someone to take lightly. She's someone rare, someone special, someone who commands respect, attention, and effort. And the absence of her constant communication only makes her value clearer, bigger, and impossible to ignore. So every day that passes, he thinks about the past, replaying memories, wondering what he could have done differently. He thinks about the present, realizing the gap your silence has created in his life. And he thinks about the future, imagining a life with or without you, wondering if he's ready to step up and fight for the love he's been taking for granted. Men don't always show these thoughts. They don't always speak them, but make no mistake, they are real. And when a woman goes silent, these thoughts grow louder, sharper, and more insistent. Men start to feel the weight of the love they've been given, the patience they've been offered, and the connection they may lose forever. Silence forces a man to confront not just his feelings for you, but the reality of how much he values you, how rare you are, and how much effort it will take to keep you. And that, my friends, is the quiet power of a woman who knows when to step back. It's not about games. It's not about manipulation. It's about clarity. It's about letting him see the truth about what he stands to lose and what he needs to do to hold on to the love that is already in his hands. Let me tell you something about men in silence. Most people think that when a woman goes quiet, a man just keeps on moving like nothing has changed. But the truth is, nothing could be further from reality. Men think constantly, day after day, about the things they've done, the things they've said, and the things they haven't done. And when you stop contacting him, when you stop giving him your energy, your attention, your voice, it hits him in a way that words never could. Suddenly there's this emptiness that he can't fill, and his mind begins to run wild. He starts replaying moments, conversations, memories, wondering what went wrong, what he could have done better, and how he can fix it before it's too late. The first thing that happens is he starts remembering the little details, the moments he probably took for granted. Maybe it was the way you laughed at his jokes, even the dumb ones. Maybe it was the way you remembered little things he mentioned in passing, like his favorite coffee or his favorite song. Maybe it was how you supported him quietly when no one else was around, how you believed in him when he didn't believe in himself. Men don't always notice these things while they're happening, but silence forces them to. Suddenly, your absence becomes a mirror showing him the value of what he had, and he realizes that he may have underestimated just how much you mattered. As he thinks about the past, he starts reflecting on his actions. He asks himself questions he might have been avoiding for months. Did he show up for you the way he should have? Did he make you feel loved, appreciated, and respected? Did he listen enough? Did he care enough? Did he fight for you when he should have? And if the answer is no, if he realizes he fell short, guilt and regret start creeping in, building day by day. Men may try to act unaffected, but inside, this is when they wrestle with themselves the most. Every day you stay silent, he's questioning himself more and more, because your absence creates space for introspection that nothing else could. And then comes the longing. A man starts to feel the void your silence has created. He thinks about the comfort of your presence, the way it felt to have someone who really understood him, someone who could make the hard days feel lighter just by being there. He remembers the laughter, the inside jokes, the quiet moments where no words were needed because being with you felt enough. That longing doesn't just hit all at once. It grows, it builds, and it keeps coming back day after day. It becomes this constant reminder that what he had was rare, special, and worth protecting. And now it's slipping away because you step back. And then fear sets in. Men fear loss, and that's what silence triggers. He begins to imagine a life without you, and it's not a pretty picture. He wonders how he could fill the space you left, how he could replace your energy, your voice, your love. He thinks about what he would do if you never reached out again, and that thought terrifies him. Fear is powerful. It makes a man look inside himself in ways he usually avoids. It makes him ask, am I good enough? Did I give her what she deserved? Can I fix this? And those questions, day after day, begin to push him toward reflection, change, and action. Silence doesn't just make him feel lonely. It makes him face the truth about himself and the relationship. What's really interesting is how men start projecting into the future during this silence. They imagine scenarios, conversations, decisions, the life they want to have with you, and the life they could lose if they don't act. They wonder if they're ready for the kind of love you're offering, if they can rise to the level you deserve, if they can be the partner you need. And because men are wired to solve problems, he begins thinking strategically. What can he do to regain your attention? How can he show you that he values you without overstepping? How can he make you see that he's serious, that he's invested, that he's willing to step up for you? These thoughts don't happen in one day. They build over time, day by day, thought by thought, and that's exactly what makes silence so powerful. While all of this is happening, he also starts to notice you in ways he never did before. He notices your strength, your independence, your confidence. He notices the way you continue living your life, growing, thriving, not waiting around for him to make a move. And that realization hits him hard because it reminds him that you're not just anyone. He's dealing with someone rare, someone special, someone who has worth, and someone who doesn't need him to validate that. The more he sees that, the more he realizes the effort and commitment it's going to take to earn you back. And the more he understands the weight of what silence has revealed, that your love, your presence, and your attention are not guaranteed. Men also start to reflect on their mistakes during this silence. They think about the times they didn't listen, the times they didn't support you, the times they didn't appreciate the effort you put in. And they start to wish they could turn back the clock, go back and change things, say the right words, take the right actions, do things differently. Those thoughts come and go, but they linger, building momentum as days turn into nights and nights turn into more days. He may not reach out immediately, but trust me, those thoughts are happening constantly, quietly, persistently. Silence doesn't just make a man think about the past, it makes him evaluate the present. He notices the gap your absence has left. He sees what it's like not having your guidance, your love, your energy around. He realizes the comfort, the support, and the partnership he's been missing. And it's not something he can fake, it's real. And the reality begins to hit him harder as time goes on. He starts to understand that the woman he's been taking for granted has a value he can't ignore, a presence he can't replace, and love he doesn't want to lose. And finally, silence forces him to confront the big question, the future. He asks himself, am I willing to step up? Am I ready to fight for her? Can I be the man she deserves? These questions don't come lightly, and they don't come all at once. They come in waves day after day as he reflects on who he is, who he wants to be, and who he could lose if he doesn't act. Silence is the catalyst that turns reflection into realization, and realization into the motivation to act. Men think about the past, the present, and the future when you go silent. They replay memories, feel the weight of absence, question themselves, and imagine a life with or without you. And while they may never admit it out loud, these thoughts are relentless. They don't stop. They grow stronger. They pile up. And that is exactly why silence is so effective. It doesn't just remove your presence. It forces him to see your value in every possible way. It forces him to reflect, feel, and ultimately understand the love he may be at risk of losing. So every day you stay silent, he's thinking, he's reflecting, he's questioning, he's remembering, he's imagining, he's realizing. And in that process, he's confronting the truth about what you mean to him and what it would take to keep you. Men may not speak about it, but that doesn't mean it isn't happening. Your silence is not emptiness. It's power. It's clarity, it's reflection, and it's the kind of thing that makes a man realize day after day just how rare, valuable, and irreplaceable you truly are. Let me tell you something about men in silence. Most women think that when they stop contacting a man, he doesn't notice. They think he just moves on, finds someone else, or forgets about them. But the truth is, nothing could be farther from the reality. When a woman goes silent, that's when a man starts thinking in ways he never did when she was always there. And I'm not just talking about surface level thoughts. I'm talking deep, day after day, mind-consuming reflections that make him question everything about himself and the relationship. Men don't always show it. They may act like it's business as usual, but inside, the gears are turning. Every memory, every word, every little gesture you ever made starts playing on repeat in his mind. And silence is the spotlight that makes him see it all. The first thing that hits him is the absence. He notices that you're not calling, not texting, not laughing at his jokes, not checking in, not sending those little messages that used to make his day. And suddenly, that absence is loud. Men don't always express emotion outwardly, but internally it's like a storm. He starts feeling the emptiness, the void, and it makes him realize just how much he relied on you without even thinking about it. And it's not just the big things, it's the small, seemingly insignificant details that begin to weigh the most. He remembers the way you smiled at him when he was stressed, how you offered advice without making him feel bad, the times you encouraged him to keep going when he wanted to give up. These memories start to pile up, and the longer you remain silent, the heavier that weight becomes. As he thinks about the past, guilt often follows. He starts replaying moments where he could have been better, moments where he may have hurt you or overlooked your needs. Men may not cry about it or talk about it, but they feel it in their own way. He asks himself questions that haunt him. Did I give enough? Did I love her the way she deserved? Did I show her that I valued her? And even if he did his best, the silence forces him to look at it from your perspective, and that perspective is powerful. He begins to see things he never noticed before. The patience, the care, the loyalty, the consistency. And sometimes realizing what he took for granted is a bitter pill to swallow. And then comes the longing. Men start to miss the little things. He misses your laughter, the way you said his name, your touch, your energy, the way you made him feel understood. That longing doesn't just appear and disappear. It lingers. It grows stronger with each day of silence. He begins to feel a hole in his life where you used to be. It's not just your physical absence. It's the absence of your voice, your guidance, your presence, and the emotional connection that only you could provide. Men start noticing what's missing in ways they never did before. The void makes them reflect on what they had and how precious it was. Fear also begins to creep in. Men fear loss, and silence makes them face it. He starts imagining life without you and doesn't like what he sees. He wonders if he will ever find another person like you, someone who brings out the best in him, someone whose love feels irreplaceable. And that fear pushes him to reflect, to strategize, and sometimes to confront the truth about himself. He wonders if he's ready to be the man who deserves you, the man who can give you the love, respect, and commitment you need. And that's where silence does its work. It forces him to confront what he has been avoiding, to face the reality that without effort, he could lose something truly special. While he's doing all of this, he also begins to observe you. He notices your independence, your growth, your strength, and your ability to thrive without him constantly around. That realization stings because it reminds him that you are not just anyone. You are rare. You are valuable. You are someone who demands respect and effort. And that absence makes him realize that love isn't something he can take for granted. He begins to question whether he's giving enough, whether he's being the man he promised to be, and whether he's showing you the kind of respect, love, and attention that you deserve. Men also start imagining the future. They project what life could be like with you if they step up, and what life could be like without you if they don't. They think about missed opportunities, conversations they wish they'd had, and mistakes they wish they could fix. They imagine scenarios where they fight for you, where they make the right gestures, where they show up in ways they haven't before. These thoughts are persistent and cumulative. They grow stronger each day because silence removes distraction and forces focus. It's like turning up the volume on a song you've been ignoring. The melody hits you and suddenly you realize what you've been missing. And here's the part that most women don't see. men start to feel the weight of your love, the patience you've given, and the energy you've invested. They start to understand that what they may have thought was simple or ordinary is actually extraordinary. The little sacrifices, the quiet support, the consistency, it all becomes magnified in his mind. And the more he realizes it, the more he starts questioning whether he's doing enough to deserve it and whether he's capable of keeping it. The silence creates a space for reflection that no amount of talking could ever produce. And then comes the turning point. Over time, as your absence continues, a man begins to see clearly what he truly values. He understands that life without you is not something he wants to live. He realizes that the love, the connection, the bond you've created together is rare, powerful, and worth protecting. Silence, more than anything else, gives him perspective. It gives him clarity. It gives him the opportunity to understand that if he doesn't step up, if he doesn't act, if he doesn't appreciate what he has, he could lose it forever. Every day you remain silent, he is thinking, he is reflecting, he is questioning, he is remembering, he is imagining, he is realizing, and those thoughts build, grow, and intensify over time. Silence does not weaken him. It challenges him. It does not push him away. It draws him inward, forcing him to confront the truth about his feelings, his actions, and the value of the woman he could lose. It is the quiet power that makes him see clearly, makes him feel deeply, and ultimately makes him act with intention. Men may never tell you everything they're thinking, but that doesn't mean it isn't happening. Your silence is not emptiness. It is influence. It is clarity. It is reflection. It is the catalyst that makes a man realize your worth, your strength, your rarity, and your irreplaceable presence. And day by day, as he sits with those thoughts, he comes closer to understanding not just who you are, but what it would mean to lose you. Silence is not a weapon. It is a mirror. It allows a man to see what he's been missing, what he's been taking for granted, and what he needs to do if he wants to keep the love, respect, and connection that you offer. And make no mistake, men think about these things constantly day after day. Your quiet presence, or rather your quiet absence, forces him to confront his past, evaluate his present, and imagine his future. And in doing so, it makes him appreciate what he has in ways he never did before. So when a woman goes silent, she's not being cold. She's not playing games. She's creating space for reflection, clarity, and emotional honesty. And the man who truly cares, the man who truly values you, will spend every day thinking about what you mean to him, how he could have done better, and what it will take to earn, keep, and cherish the love he may have been taking for granted. Silence, my friends, is power, and men think about it, feel it, and realize it day after day.